Right, so it's now time to meet the candidates. Let's get to know who they are, and then we'll put the issue to you. But where are we going today? We're staying up, the three northern regions, but we are in Wa Central. And it's interesting because Wa Central, in the 2012 election, they did skirt and blouse because President Mahama had well over 60%, but the candidates who stood for the NDC had somewhere around, I think, 39%. But what does that even mean? And going into 2016 elections, what would make the difference? Unfortunately, we don't have the incumbent MP, Rashid Purpo, who is also Minister of State, Private-Public Partnership. Unfortunately, he couldn't join us. But his contenders who are looking to unseat him are in the studios with us here. And so I'll go on and introduce them. My first guest, we have Tashiru Isaku Mumin. Is it Mumin? Mumin, and he is the NPP candidate for Wa Central. Thank you very much for joining us. And James Sohimwinye, is that it?
Yeah, Sohimwinye.
Sohimwinye.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. That's nice. Sohimwinye, and the PPP candidate for Wa Central. And Sharif Gali is the PNC candidate for Wa Central. Thank you all for coming. And I'll give you a minute and a half to introduce yourself because we have already spent some of it. So a minute and a half, I'll start with you. You look into this camera and tell your constituent, just a quick introduction of who you are and why you're the better candidate than all of them.
Yeah, thank you very much, Bridget. Assalamu alaikum. You are viewing and listening to Mr. Tahiru Isaku Momen, the parliamentary candidate for Wa Central. I was the parliamentary candidate in 2012, almost unseated incumbent MP, but unfortunately things didn't work out the way we thought it could. But this time around, inshallah, we are on to continue with the battle, and by God's grace, we're going to get him out of the seat at the moment. Yala mana yala pahala wala tiyalanka yuning at election or latayang yajani anana wa 2012 na to more encouraging chair to ba 20 jene tumbora kartana chapa mpana tiyan so henka niaja ahpianga ka yada bon aku MPP ka yeduku nanado aladuku alaji saku Tahiru, so that this time round ka tabantwanya yalkanga bunsung awana awoku our constituency. In fact, proceeding forward, what I want to do as my vision
and begin to wrap up.
Right. Yes. This is a time we want to lead the whole Wa Central into a new era of hope and prosperity through facilitated jobs, women empowerment, comprehensive health care, and subsidized farming.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much, Tahiru. Tahiru, you actually had 39%, and Rashid Popo had about 49% in the 2012 election, and it was very, very close, 28,000 and then 22,000 for you. All right, then. Also, please, you have a moment to introduce yourself. You can use the middle camera.
Okay, thank you very much. And thank you to your viewers, more especially the people of Wa Central. My name is Honorable James K. Sohimwinye. I'm the parliamentary candidate for the Wa Central on the ticket of the Progressive People's Party. I contested the seat in 2012, and I was not fortunate, but I have to continue this time around. Until I took my decision to contest this seat, I have been working with GN Bank for the past 7 years. Today, I'm in the battle, and I'm sure the man for the Wa Central who is prepared to take Wa Central to a higher height is Honorable James K. Sohimwinye. Honorable James K. Sohimwinye has been working as an assembly member. He has interacted with the people, and I know the people's challenges and all their problems. After I contested in 2012 and I was not successful, I didn't give up. Within 2013 up to now, this is the man who have been able to support over 600 young graduates to be able to get full employment in the Wa Central constituency. Given the opportunity, I will ensure that I will not relent in my efforts. I will market the Wa Central constituency very well to draw many investors into the Wa Central constituency to ensure that those of us who complete schools and have problem of getting a job, everybody will have the opportunity to be gainfully employed. Thank you for this opportunity.
All right, then. So we'll go to you, Gali. Introduce yourself and tell us why you are, the candidate for the Wa Central constituency, why the constituency should give you the mandate.
All right, thank you, Bridget. Good morning to the good people of Wa, Wana, Ansuma, Bita, Bipolan, Posareja, Biwa, Mamini, Ansuma. I'm saying good morning to the people of Wa, the chief and elders of Wa. My name is Sheriff Gali, the youngest candidate. I'm very smart, affable, and then development-oriented. I am somebody who have the passion to help my people develop. As a journalist, a motivational speaker, an entrepreneur who have set up a lot of businesses on my own. I didn't do it. Somebody didn't do it for me, I did it. I've employed a lot of young people. I have, in my own small ways, assisted a lot of farmers to purchase fertilizers and many other things. And I am still looking forward to do more because if you look at Wa Central, we seem to suffer a lot. And then we need a young man who would be able to stand on his feet and do this work for our people.
All right, then we'll have to move on now. Now we get to hear the candidates, their vision for the constituency. It's an interesting constituency because the votes for the NDC presidential candidates actually went up, but for the parliamentary candidates, it dwindled just a little bit. And the PNC in 2008, in the 2008 elections, for instance, you got just about 0.16%, but in 2012, you were able to manage some 10.86%. What do you think accounted for that?
Well, I think that was my
No, it wasn't you, but as a party, yes.
Yeah, sure. Our people came to love the party and our ideas, our ideologies towards development, and they came to realize that PNC is a party for them, and they wanted to try their own. So basically, looking at the good ideas we presented before them, and then they having the feel to have their own, because if you look at the history of PNC, you would understand that where it's coming from. So I think that contributed hugely to that change. So
yeah. What's your vision for the party?
For the party?
For the constituency, sorry.
For the constituency. Yes. As I mentioned, I have created a lot of jobs for young people.
How?
Yeah, I am an entrepreneur. I have about 3 companies on my own.
What companies?
One is Fortune Builders Limited and one is Cash Builders Limited.
So what do they do?
Basically, we offer high purchase services to the informal sector and that of the public sector government workers. Yeah, that is basically what my companies do. Yeah. So as I was saying, I will tool that direction to make sure I create more jobs, because that is one thing that is affecting our people. A lot of young people are working on street, no jobs, and you know, when we get frustrated, anything can happen. And I'm the only one that understands what it takes.
Begin to wrap up.
Yes, what it takes to and create those things for the young people.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. In 2012, you couldn't make it. Yes, what happened?
Really, you get to understand that the Progressive People's Party was formed in 2012, somewhere in February, and a party that was formed in an election year will definitely have some teething problems here and there in trying to put its structures in place. But notwithstanding that, you realize that I was almost the last candidate to come out to file my nomination, and I used only three months to campaign. But basically, I can say that...
But you couldn't secure anything?
I secured something,
Like what?
I had votes close to 5,000 votes for the 3 months that I came. And a place like an NDC zone, that since 1992, the seat has been with one political party. And a party like Progressive People's Party, who just came out, so a few months to election, we were able to
You said you secured 5,000 votes, but the EC record says that non-applicable.
Probably there could be an error.
No, but you secured 5,000. In other words,
close to 5,000.
Close to 5,000. Hang on. NDP secured 120 votes. CPP secured 310 votes. Yeah. PNC secured 6,202 votes, and you got 5,000 votes. And so EC made a mistake by not putting your name on the list. Is that what you're saying?
Probably. Then they need to check their records. The votes that was used to declare me, I had 4,500.
No, you mean as a parliamentary candidate?
As a parliamentary
candidate. I'm talking about national elections. I'm talking national elections.
Well, but they need to check the records. Okay. Otherwise, we had votes.
You secured votes in your constituency. How many votes?
As it is now, I don't have the figure of it, but nationally we had over 65,000 votes.
In your intro, you mentioned you want to create jobs. How? And what jobs are you talking about that you think that your constituents need and you want to address?
Thank you very much. Job creation comes from it comes from so many angles and in so many forms. The constituency is one that is bedeviled with youth unemployment, and where most of them depend largely on white-collar job, that is from the government sector and probably into construction. But this time around, we're trying to get them to change their psyche and then change their orientation and tilt them towards going into agriculture. I know our region, and for that matter, our constituency is endowed with a very fertile land where if most people, where the youth, if you are able to convince them to go into agriculture, it's an area where they can create jobs for themselves. Because the land is there, it is fertile, but the orientation is what the problem is. And some of them are really want to work, but they don't get the support.
So what's specific? I just need specifics because you're addressing your constituents. Specifically, what are you doing? What would you do?
Yeah, specifically, like I said, we're going to help the youth, those in the rural areas through facilitated, subsidized farming. We want to move them into farming, and then also those who want to get white-collar jobs. That is, they have to be educated in the first place. So we have to support them in terms of education. That is by going into set educational development fund. Okay. Most of them are not able to go to school because they are not able to pay the school fees. But here, if we set up educational endowment fund, where a certain amount of money can be channeled into that particular fund, brilliant but needy students would have access to the fund and they'll be able to educate themselves.
All right. James, I want to ask you, do you believe that a member of parliament should be available to his constituents 24/7, no matter how small, quote, inimical, irrelevant the problems are?
First of all, let me say no. As a member of parliament, if you really understand what you are supposed to do, you don't need to be in your constituency 24 hours, 7 days in a week before your people can feel your impact on the constituency.
Okay.
After all, some of the things that will be happening, there are people there you can put in charge. It's just about your policies and then your vision for the constituency. If it is about job creation, and I believe today we are in a technological world that many of the things can be done without you appearing there physically. I was saying that in 2012, I was the only candidate that decided to put up a campaign office in the Ward Central constituency. And I said, given the opportunity, there are people that I will employ who will sit in the office. There are certain concerns, challenges that people will bring to the office. So it might not necessarily be you being there present, but people will be there and receive those things. Issues that they cannot address, they will channel it to you. And then just with a phone call or sometimes with mails and other things, you can be able to address certain challenges that affect your constituency.
Okay, just a quick follow-up on it. But we're, a very communal society. Yeah. They want to see their MPs. I mean, at outdoorings, at funerals, they just want to come to you. Sometimes not for money, but they just want to see you. Yeah. Does that in any way mean it's a bit too much?
Yes, I know that Parliament go on recess, and there are times that you also visit your constituency. If you program, it's always about time management. When you are not doing parliamentary work, you can program yourself that this is the period or this is the time I want to go into my constituency to visit my constituency. And you can actually take either a week or two to visit all the towns and villages in your constituency and listen to people, and people that want to actually see you, they will come to you.
All right, thank you. For you as well, do you believe that MP must be available to his people 24/7, no matter the nature of the problem, however small it is?
Not really, my dear. As my brother rightly mentioned, the work of an MP is so involving that you might not be able to be with your people 24/7, because where would you be? You are lobbying, seeking for development, and how would you have the time to even spend with your people? But I think it should be 50-50, so that you have time with your people, as you mentioned, and that of your work. But if you permit me, I would like to say something. When you asked my brother about what he would do for the young people, yes, he was actually fumbling, and you have to press on specifically. There's a saying in our local language that if you don't have the medicine to treat somebody, you don't call for that sickness. Okay. So it's like, as he was fumbling to even say what you do in terms of employment, you haven't done that. You have not been, you've not been in that field. You have not created anything. So how would you create it? Because I think after you contested in 2012 and you lost, but you should have been doing something by now to have point to be on, so that when you sit on national television like this, you say with strong heart that yes, I did this for the young people. But I think he's not able to do any, so he's saying he will do a lot of things for the young people. I think that they should come and ask people like us, so that we'll tell them what they are supposed to tell the people when it comes to employment, what it takes to create it for the people in Wa Central.
Okay,
yeah.
All right, thank you. Same as well about the policy, running a 24-hour policy for persons in your constituency.
Yes, I think making yourself available doesn't necessarily mean that you should be physically available to the people. But if you establish an office where you have a representative who would be there to represent you at all times, I think you make yourself available through such person to your constituents. So to that extent, I am of the view that an MP should be available to your to your constituents 24/7. I mean, you can be there physically, and you can also be around to do somebody, because as an MP, you have to make yourself available and accessible to your people, and you have to be available to listen to the concerns of your people and to represent them where you're supposed to represent them. But if you don't make yourself available to your people, how do you listen to them? How do you address their concerns? And addressing the concerns of your people and representing them very well is why you have to be an MP, or why you want to be an MP, and why you have to be in Parliament.
Okay.
But my brother, I don't want us to take
we have to
the issue
just 30
at a personal. Yes, I don't want us to take the issues to a personal level. If you have anything to do for the youth, I think you have to go straight forward and tell the constituents what you intend doing for them.
No, but I asked you a personal question about what you can do, how you're going to create the job. It was a question I asked you.
Yes.
And he's responding as a person with experience in creating jobs for young people.
When it gets to experience, in creating jobs, I think I can say that I have it better than what he probably is doing or what he has done. So far, you see, being an entrepreneur doesn't necessarily mean that you have to mention a mushroom, or what you call it, a smaller companies that do not have even more than 2 or 3 people as a staff.
You're calling his employment creation job unemployment.
So right now, as I'm here, yes, you see, as I'm speaking to you now, I've employed about 15 people. I've employed about 15 people in one particular business that I run now. So, and as I sit here,
business?
But the business is running.
What business is
Yes, we are into water production. So we produce water and we sell water.
Is that mushroom?
It cannot be mushroom, because
you called his job mushroom.
Yes, because I know the nature of his business. I know the nature of the business he does, and then the strength of the business. But as I said, I don't want us to take it to a personal level.
You've done it already.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much.
I should also have the bite to that
yes,
same question.
Yes, please go ahead.
Talking about agriculture, you know that in Ghana here, where you can actually find a vast land, fertile land is within the northern belt. Given the opportunity as a member of Parliament for Wa Central, I intend to set up a mechanization center where probably during farming season like this, they can be, we can subsidize the plowing.
That is if you're elected as a member of Parliament,
yes,
you set up a mechanization
center.
Okay.
Around this season, it's very difficult to even come by a tractor that can go and plow your farm, at the price that maybe you can afford. Okay. But as a member of Parliament, if you set up a mechanization center, and there are subsidized rates that people can plow, I think that will ginger a lot of people to go into farming. And besides that, fertilizer, for instance, if we bring fertilizer to compete with even the government subsidy fertilizer, there are a lot of people that can be able to afford, and we'll send it closer to them. Besides that, weedicides and the rest. These days, I've been saying in my constituency that gone are the days you can only be using a hoe and a cutlass.
You have to begin to wrap up.
So I am saying that given the opportunity, I know a lot of people in the north, more specifically in the Upper West region, goes into farming.
Have you done cost analysis of the idea that you want to, if you're given the nod you want, have you done cost analysis of it?
I have done that analysis. I know that to get a tractor at least between 25 and 30, you can get a strong tractor.
25 and 30 what?
30,000 Ghana cedis.
Okay.
You can get a strong tractor that can plow about between 9 to 10 acres a day. I have done that and I know. So in the constituency too, if you are able to get, let's say that between 5 to 10 tractors in your constituency, at least you can do a meaningful job. You can create an impact in the lives of the farmers. Besides that, they're all struggling with job creation. I am saying that in the Wa Central, the man who has the antidote to job creation is Honorable James K. Swangunenye. Okay. That's why I said after the 2012 election, I didn't go to sleep. From 2013 up to date, there are a lot of young ladies and guys who completed polytechnics and universities that were languishing. I've been able to support them to get jobs, over 600 direct jobs.
Thank you. This one I'll start with you. And in 2012, you lost by over 5,000 votes.
Yeah.
And Rashid Pelpo, what has he failed to do in the last 4 years that you think has given you the edge to beat him in this election?
Yeah, thank you very much, Bridget. You see, all what we are talking about now, job creation, agriculture, and whatever, these are all the failures, the failures of the sitting member of parliament. And we think that as I'm coming on board now, I'm going to concentrate on the job creation we have said. And going into agriculture, we'll go into that area.
So Rashid Pelpo has failed to create jobs.
Yeah, he has failed to create jobs.
You have to,
yes, he has failed to create jobs. And secondly, health delivery in the constituency is appalling. Well, as we speak now, if we go to the regional hospital, it is supposed to represent the whole region, but we don't have adequate medical officers and health staff working in this place.
How is that Rashid Pelpo's problem?
Yes,
how is that?
Yes, it's because he has not turned his attention onto health delivery in the constituency. Why am I saying this? I know that health professionals are not adequate in the system, but there are ways you have to go through as a representative of the people to get health professionals into your constituency. One, you have allocation of certain statutory funds. That is one thing. And some health professionals, they work and they take on their leaves. So once they take their leave, you have to take a step forward to negotiate with these people to come to the constituency to spend their leave period. So you pay them what they would have earned elsewhere, you know, so that they will come and give their professional service to your people.
Okay. And besides in all of that, have you, as a person who cares about the constituency, have you drawn his attention to it, or you're waiting to score a political point with it?
No, if you ask him, these are not new to him, because we say them on air and in our debates.
I asked you a question about, have you contacted him as a person? I said as a person who loves.
No, I have not contacted him as a person. I have not contacted him as a person because he's somebody who wouldn't even listen. You remember, if you follow news very well some time back, which I know you do.
He's lost touch with.
Yes, he lost touch with them certainly, and there was an issue at Percy, where a particular school that is within his constituency, and a particular a locality where he's sitting, chief executive also hailed from. But this is an area where the people lack furniture and whatever for a very long time. And even as I speak to you now, there are still other schools in the constituency that still steady under trees.
Thank you.
So an issue like that, I think he has failed people willfully in education, health.
Thank you very much. Gali, as you as well, what is it that Rashid Pelpo, the sitting member of parliament, has failed to do that you think it's a good opportunity for you to implement that or to right the wrong?
All right. Of parliament. If you say he hasn't done anything, maybe in a way I'm not very sincere. Okay. He has done. But as comparing his years of being in that position, almost 12 good years now, and as to what he has done, that is a problem. So I have seen a lot of neglect in these areas: health, education, economic empowerment, that is the young people and women. It is very pathetic. At a point, you go to the hospital and even common paracetamol syrup, you have to go and buy. And you know, when you ask a question that what has he got to do?
What is he supposed to do?
Oh,
yes, you put people in place to do those work.
Sure. If you are representing the interests of the people, any other thing, no matter big or small, should be your concern. So those are some of the things that as a leader you should know, and then see how you can address. If maybe you can't do it directly, but you know where to go, and that thing will be solved. So I think anything that is going on there should be the interest of our MP, because it affects the people in any other way. You have a situation where the whole regional hospital, now when you go there, you are being transferred to, another district. a district hospital. It tells you that we are sitting with nothing. And then when it comes to employment, I am not even talking about it. I personally came out with YDF, a youth developmental fund. I approached Honorable Rashid. As a journalist, I've always been on air. I spoke about those things. Sir, this is what I think we should do for the young people. We have people with special entrepreneurial skills. Why don't you let us cut some of your common fund and then put it in this YDF, because by then I do not have that strength. So we allow people annually to bring in proposals of their business. Some of them, they don't need much to start, something small. We will help them to start those businesses. And then up to now, I haven't heard anything. And I have also, with my friends from China, nearly because of the inability, of our MP, my friends from China couldn't have come to help me engage a lot of women in shea butter production. I've been to him, to Accra, to his office. Please, these people just need you to talk to them so that they'll come. But because Sheriff Gali is going to champion or to lead, you know, I don't think he did. So it tells you how different I am. My brother couldn't personally contact him, but I did. I did on so many occasions, because I am always passionate about the plight of my people. All
right, thank you. For you as well, same question for you.
Yes, let me start by saying that there is a saying that goes to say development is a process. And if development is a process, I have been saying that no one single individual or one political party can be able to solve all our developmental challenges. We therefore go to suggest that there will be a time you do your bit, but when your ideas are choked or your ideas are finished, nobody needs to tell you that you need to step aside.
So has Rashid Pelko run out of ideas?
Basically, I think so, because if you see that in your constituency or even in a country, when you see that the populace begin to cry, or there is a public outcry, or there is a complaints all over everywhere, it goes to tell you that now the complaints are overweighing your strength. And if they are overweighing your strength, you don't need to stay there. Somebody else with some other new ideas, somebody with new strength will have to take over to ensure that he brings the new ideas on board. And I think that in the Ward Central, my Honorable Member of Parliament, Rashid Pelko, his ideas are finished. And I think you need a young man like Honorable James Sohmunye, who will come and take over and continue from where he has stopped to solve all the unemployment situations that are bedeviling the constituency. Above all, you realize that the PPP agenda change is built on 4 pillars: stewardship, education, healthcare, and job creation.
Yes, but Gali, when Gali was speaking, he did not say that the MPA has shut his doors. He actually listened to him, but the facilitation is what has been a problem. So it's not like he's closed his doors to people. So how do you then say he's not touched with the people?
The point is that you can listen to somebody's problem or challenge, but if you don't have the medicine or you don't have the solution, it is there. And I'm sure many of the challenges that confront him in recent times, in the contemporary issues, he has no solutions to them. And that's why many people are saying that he's not working, or he's not in touch, or he's not visible, he's not this and that kind of thing. If you have the solutions, as I said, you can sit in Accra here and solve an issue in Wa. They mentioned about the regional hospital. I remember there was a time, even the X-ray machine, it was, halubalu here and there. Somebody said I brought a new one. When they contacted him, he said this and all those manner of things. And I'm saying that his ideas seems to be finished. And for that matter, they need a young blood who will come and rescue the Ward Central constituency. And that man is no other person but Honorable James K. Sohmunye, who has worked with the grassroots as an assembly member for 5 years now, who has worked with market women, who has worked with many of the young people, interacted with them, and know many of their challenges. And I know many of the farmers who are out there who can no longer go to farm and feed themselves to talk about even selling
okay, all right.
These are the areas that I'm coming to.
So you all have a clear idea as to how you want to resolve the problem, the numerous problems on health, education in the Wa Central constituency. But let's look at the figures and look at what happens if you don't get the nod. I mean, if you look at 2012 elections, you're saying they've lost touch, but the presidential candidate did get some 62.36%. That's not a party that's lost touch with the ground. Its candidate scored 49.31%. So what happens if you don't get the nod? What happens? Do your ideas stay with you? I'm starting with you.
No, I don't think so. If once we offer ourselves to help our people, even if we don't get the nod, and whoever that gets the nod and is willing to be a team player, I think we'll all come together and share ideas and work. Looking at us here, before this particular session, we were together laughing, doing a whole lot of things and discussing issues together, and that has been the spirit that.
But you have an history of not coming forward with your ideas. You have a history of not contacting.
Yeah.
How do you convince somebody else who has seen you as someone who is keeping his ideas to his chest that you've changed?
That particular one is as a result of the nature of our sitting MP towards me, or probably the political party that I belong. He might have his personal relationship cordial with him, but I will also have mine differently. You remember what he said about even Dr. Baumia. Baumia's attempt to help the people of that particular place was described as irresponsible. And I don't see why something like this should happen. And if a sitting member of parliament could go a long way to describe someone who has come to help your people and describe that action as irresponsible, I don't know what responsible statement or responsible act will be. And that particular statement is determined.
So what would you do differently now, moving forward, so I can come to him?
Yes, doing differently now in terms of...
In terms of your relationship, you're saying that your ideas will not stay in your on your chest. So what would you differently? Are you now going to approach him? Assuming he's standing, if he wins.
Yes, I don't think he's going to win again. Inshallah, he's not going to win again. Inshallah, we're going to retire him peacefully and respectfully. And now the mantle is going to be between the three of us. And hopefully, and God willing, I'll win. And I'm going to solicit their support. And they'll surely give it to me to deliver the people from the quagmire we find ourselves at the moment.
Okay, Gali, you as well, about coming on board, ideas. You have fantastic ideas. You've already approached the MP and you haven't seen any results with him on that. What do you think? Do you think that he has changed? Do you think he would change if he should win? And if it doesn't, what would you do next?
All right, I think if our current MP, whether he changes or not, but I think that this time around, our people are ready to send a young person, somebody they can easily approach, somebody who have a lot of ideas to save our people from this very plight. But I also, in our Quran as a Muslim, I said that God is the one who knows who a chief is or who gives position. So if it so happens that any of my brothers here becomes an MP, I would always forge ahead with my ideas and I'll go to them, because one thing is I can't just take it when I see things going wrong. So I would always go to them with my ideas. Hopefully, since I will win, I will just take this opportunity to call on them, James and then Bro Isaku. I am young, I'm their brother. So if I go to Parliament, they should support me with their ideas. Yeah.
Okay, all right, then let's move on to some other. It's still the WA Central Constituency debate. If you're watching us, you can go to all our social media platforms, New Day on TV3, and post your comments and concerns there. I'm online and I'll read them. I'll put them to your aspiring member of Parliament or members of Parliament who are in the studio with us here. Now, you seem to be, yes, you have a fair idea, but what are the 3 top things that you think that your constituency needs now?
Thank you.
James.
Yes, I think that as it is now, not just even in my constituency, worldwide, to have a job is key. And I said I want to live this American dream, which is nothing just but, which is to have a job. And it's nothing to have a shelter and how to feed yourself. Why do you go to school? Today, if you complete, maybe let's say even SGSS or the Polytechnic or university, and you come back and sit home without any job, then what is the purpose of educating yourself? So that's why I said job creation in the municipality or in the constituency is key to me. And that's why when I didn't even win in 2012, but I didn't go to sit down.
You said that, you've made that.
I've contributed my bit. So job creation to the youth is key. Women empowerment.
When is the women empowerment? What do you mean?
Trying to form women groups to, support them, guarantee them to access cheaper loans at, cheaper interest rate, that they can go into their own businesses. Some people just even need 200 Ghana cedis or 500 Ghana cedis to start up their own marketing activities. But do they know where they can get these things, where it is reliable that they won't be, so much high interest on the loans that they are going to access? So these are the things that I said I want to do in the area of supporting women so that they can be self-reliant. Besides that, there is an NGO that has been talking about what is it called? Agricultural insurance. I am saying that these days, you are a farmer and you go to the bank. After they say, go and bring your proposal, go and bring this. You finish and you send it there, they say, oh, please, we can't help you. Why are they not able to help you? They are afraid that as a farmer, maybe you go and maybe when you miss rain or fire or those kind of things, you can't pay back. Yeah. But if there's something called agricultural insurance, where your farm produce and everything is being insured, the banks will not be running away to lend you money. And these are the 3 areas that I think that if we pursue them vigorously in West Central will catch up with the rest of the constituencies, the rest of the world. And the tag that WA is the poorest region nationwide, I think by the time I end my 4 years term of office, WA will no longer be tagged as such.
You as well.
Yeah.
Top 3 immediately that you think that must be addressed or you would address.
Yeah, I think anyone that is in touch with the people of WA Central, like any of us here, would not say anything different apart from job creation, education, and then what do you call it? Empowerment, health. That is it. Yeah. So these are basically the areas that we'll be looking at. But how the approach is what is now going to make the difference between the 3 of us.
What is your approach?
Yes, my approach with regards to health, health delivery. We want to make sure that we provide comprehensive health care for the people.
You're speaking English. Comprehensive how?
Yes, comprehensive in the sense that it will cover everyone and everyone will have access to it. Currently, people need health services, but they do not have the access. And those that have the access in terms of infrastructure available, but there are no staff to man those areas. So that is one thing I'm going to consider seriously. We have to work at areas where we can get, health staff to the place. And this one I have 2 approaches.
Okay.
We have the short to medium term approach. And the short to medium term approach is to lobby with health professionals, as I said earlier on in my intro, to lobby with them to come down there to work, whose expenses will be borne and catered for by the Member of Parliament. And then also, in consultation with the Municipal Assembly, we have to start from the planning stage so that we take into account how to finance health professionals through the common fund for the for that municipality, and then also through agriculture. You see, all of us are mentioning agriculture because it has a potential to solve the poverty problem of the area, but people are not encouraged to go into it because they do not anticipate to get the necessary support to go into it. But now, what I intend doing is the youth groups that are in the various communities who are unemployed and yet do not have the strength and ability or capacity to go into agriculture will be mobilized and put into groups. And there are students who will finish tertiary institution, especially the agricultural graduates. So we have to get them through national service to come down to those communities, put them together and give them some knowledge into going to cash crop farming. This cash crop farming would help them to raise some income and then to reduce agriculture from the subsistence to maybe a large scale.
Thank you. But apart from employment creation, what are the 2 things that are important to the constituents?
Yes, they've mentioned them all, agriculture and then women empowerment. But before then, Bridget, just give me a minute. You realize that
you have, your 2 minutes, so you can.
All right, I realize that my brothers, all of them say they will do this. I am already into them. That is one thing that makes me different as young as I am. My brother called my company very small. How can I have a branch in Tamale and my company can be called a small one? Anyway, just like my brother too, he's a manager for GN Bank. He's been employed by somebody. I've also employed people, but he keep on saying he will create the jobs. I wonder.
But you get to realize that I have evidence to show in all the 11 districts.
Oh yeah, you have done well as a manager. I think he will still be very good if he's a manager of the bank. Because if he should come to politics, who will be there to make sure our people.
Why don't you also remain as the entrepreneur? Just say
yes, I have managers like you.
Go ahead.
Yes, Bridget, coming to talk about agriculture, I have done a lot with my friends from China. We have engaged almost close to 300 women in shea butter production. I have pictures that I can show, evidence. They are also aware. I am not the type who come to sit and say, give me the mandate and let me do. No, start it now with the small that you have, lobby. So I have done those things, and I realized that shea butter is just like cocoa for the people there.
Okay.
So if we should focus so much on it, I think it can bring a lot of changes to the lives of people. And then with respect to health, I have also done a lot. I don't just sit and wish to to be an MP before I do them. I have, if you look at West Central, one of the things they face is this malaria. We keep on treating, sometimes no drugs, and people are dying. So what I did, I think last 3 months, I donated about.
Your time is up, I'm told.
I donated about 300 mosquito nets to hospitals and chips compounds.
Okay, yeah. We're done, but I just a quick question, and you all have 30 seconds really. On there seems to be a lot of competition, honestly, among the parliamentary candidates and not the presidential candidates. Why? There's scarce of blood voting at Upper West. Why? In just 15 seconds, I'm told.
Well, let me say that right now, in the constituency, I have been saying that if it is something, you talk about your house first before you talk about outside. If you go to parliament, whether your party is in government or not in government.
So you are not really bothered by it.
Yes,
Thank you. You as a why so much scarce and blouse?
Yes, that is what it's supposed to be, so that we can always have a different kind of leadership, different ideas to see how we can build our constituency.
All right. Same for you?
Yes.
Why the parliamentary candidate? There's a keen, very, very tough competition between the candidates and not the presidential. There's a vast margin. I mean, from even President Mahama and Eko for the Park, we've seen the Hassan Ayariga in the 2012 elections. They are unmatched.
Yeah, it is true, because most of the people, let me put it that way, do not necessarily want a representation from a political party, but who can do the work for them. So that is why they assess the candidate. So for presidential,
you're saying that
yes,
they believe the NDC candidate can do a better job, is that it?
I'm not going that way. You centered your question on parliamentary, and that is why I'm approaching it.
No, my
way.
question is actually on presidential.
If you go to the presidentials, you realize that MPP presidential vote keep increasing from the previous elections up to this time. So, and the presidential results, I don't want to move into that area. We have so many, we have our doubts with regards to what do you call it, the presidential votes.
That's not what the figures are. But thank you very much, all of you. A very big thank you for the parliamentary candidates of Wa Central Constituency, and I'll try and mention their names again. Tahiru Isaku Mumin, the NPP candidate for Wa Central, NPP parliamentary candidates, aspiring parliamentary candidate for Wa Central, James Suhimwini, PPP candidates, and Sharif Gali, also PNC. Thank you, gentlemen, for talking to us. And if you are in Wa Central Constituency, I'll read your comments a bit later on, but I hope that you are clear in your mind, like I keep saying, as to who you want to vote. Rashid Pelpo, he was aware about a month ago, we informed him. Unfortunately, he came in, but it was a bit late, and so we couldn't allow him to come on the show.